Hey YouTube, welcome back to Guitar Vocalist, the channel that's all about singing and playing guitar at the same time, being a singer-songwriter, having your own kind of performance, being your own person, you know what I mean? Not relying on another band, just being able to perform by yourself. Not that there's anything wrong with being in a band. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm just saying it's really good to be able to be standalone, and that's what this channel is all about. So if you're new here, like and subscribe. And with that being said, today's topic is I'm going to show you 3 really interesting tuning variants, a variant to standard tuning on guitar. Okay, and these are really cool, and I like to use them all. I primarily play in one of them, and I'm going to just move right into it right now. So you have standard tuning, EADGBE. Well, actually, I should probably not play a note. I should probably not play a chord. I should probably play the actual. So you have standard, right? So I'm just gonna play some standard chords just to get in the feel of it. So E minor, G major, and so on. So this is the standard tuning. You're probably familiar with it. Now, the next one you're also probably familiar with. It's the natural next step, and this is drop D. Okay, now I want to be clear. I didn't want to cover here, like, obviously you can change this E, the standard E tuning to be standard D or standard C if you want. You can tune up or down or a half step down, like all of Guns N' Roses songs are E flat, so just a half step down. But that's just basically the same tuning, just a different key. So I'm trying to show you ones where the tuning is actually different. So that being said, the first most logical step is going drop D. You could do it like this. All you do is you take this note from an E to a D. You drop it 1 step. That's it. And what that means is now you can play power chords by just doing bars. That's what's really cool about this tuning. That's what makes it really popular. And it's one of the things about nu metal and the whole era, from Korn to Limp Bizkit to System of a Down to Linkin Park to, I don't know, everyone that played from late 90s to early 2000s that played rock music and metal. That really popularized drop D. And not to say that nobody did drop D before that, but it's just that it became really big and to the point where everybody does drop D, and it's still a thing to this day, in all kinds of styles of music. So the cool thing is, instead of having the power chord shape be like this, you can now have it be barred. And it really allows you to do a lot more stuff and have like a richer lower end like that, so you could really do it fast. So anyway, you can do that, and it messes with your chords a little bit, but you can learn some chord shapes. Like, all you have to do is just have a slightly different fingering for some of the chords. So if this was normally your major, now you're just gonna have to play it with 4 strings like this, or like with a minor, what you can do is you can actually bar it like this. You have a slightly different minor that way. And there's a lot of options like that. These are just 2 of them that I like. But the real power in this one is being able to just really go to a rich low end. It's also really cool to be able to do like and this is just playing octaves. So it sounds really nice and rich like that. And the other thing is, this doesn't really mess you up too much if you think about it, because you have the other 5 strings are the same, so you can still solo and play everything the same way you would play it. You're not really limited. It just gives you on the bottom end a way to play bigger power chords that are more powerful. Like, you can extend your power chord essentially, like with this type of shape. Or you could just play it with 4. And it just gives you a lot more of a kind of richer low end, which a lot of the nu metal sound was really big for. So that's what's really cool. Now the next one is basically one I really like, DADGCD. So basically you take what's really cool about this tuning is it's an open tuning, right? So basically, the trick is you only press a few frets and everything works, and you could do those same octaves on it. But up here, you can do this shape. And it just gives you a lot of basically freedom and flexibility in your chords. It lets you do a lot more stuff. A famous song with that one is Angel Son by Sevendust. It goes like this. And there's like these chords like this. What I really like is that you can just go in this chord shape to play like a really, really big power chord, right? And the last tuning I'm going to cover, because the sun's coming down, and that's all I can do for today, is the DADGAD tuning. So it's the same as this. It's not DADGCD, it's DADGAD. DADGAD. Sorry. DADGAD. So DADGAD is basically the same thing, except that you drop this C to be an A. And this tuning is really about playing like maximum 2 frets at the same time and achieving results. So whatever you play here sounds great. So the first 4 strings, the thickest ones, are the same as a drop D tuning. Because all these notes are tuned to be like the fifth of D, and like just notes that work well, that you just, anything you play sounds great. You can do some interesting variants with this one too. You can play a major chord like this, or a minor like this. But yeah, for the most part, it just lets you kind of play anything. Basically what's cool is that no matter what you play on your lower 4 strings, it will sound good on the upper 2 strings. That's really the benefit to this tuning. And yeah, so the last 2 that I gave here, DADGAD and DADGCD, those 2 are basically really cool for rhythm, but drop D is just so universal because it's really just like standard, but the bottom low end is really rich, like this. So for that reason, it's my most common used one, but play with it though. And here's the thing, D is just the best. I mean, I love that. D is just the best tuning, the best everything in my mind, the best scales. I try and make my songs in D because E standard is like where you start, but if you play drop D, then it's natural to want to drop into a D minor scale for all of your stuff, and then it's so easy to go into DADGAD or DADGCD or any of the other tunings. So D is just, I don't know, in my opinion, it's just where it's at. So that's it. You can see it's getting darker here, the sun's coming down. Maybe I'll try and brighten this video up post-processing or something if I can. And yeah, with that being said, if you like what you saw, like what you heard, like, subscribe, and all that good stuff, post a comment, what's your favorite tuning and why do you like it? And until next time.